When diving to the bottom of the island, they found a fake body of Erican before he became the Demon King, who was once a hero wielding the holy sword and always obeying the king's orders to protect the people from monsters. However, on one mission at the border, Leo fell into a trap set by villains who lured him to a deserted place without monsters. Feeling unsafe, Leo immediately drew his sword, but he was prevented by the witches while others used chains to bind all of Leo's limbs. Then they hung Leo and killed him with a deadly spear until Leo stopped moving, only then did they lower Leo. It turned out Leo was so kind-hearted that the people cherished him more than the king. Since then, Leo has become a thorn in the ruler's side, so they tried to kill him, and when Leo gasped for breath, the goddess turned to look at him sympathetically because he was someone who had once saved the world but was now betrayed by humans. As he died, Leo said he didn't hate them, but the goddess thought otherwise because he always had thoughts of fighting against this world. After observing Leo several times, the goddess decided to ask for Leo's help to fulfill her wishes. Just by reaching out her hand, the goddess brought Leo back to life. She said that heroes were just boring, so Leo had to belong to her. At dawn, Leo also woke up from a long dream and always reminded himself to raise the Demon King's army while looking for the reverse goddess Celia. Celia woke up after receiving orders from Leo. Celia's hands and body were a mark of authority, so when Leo gave orders, Celia had to obey. Of course, Celia also had to obey the requests of the adults, but Leo said he wouldn't do it. On this occasion, Leo also asked Celia about the bite marks on his neck, and Celia had to admit that she was too hungry in the middle of the night, so she stole Leo's blood. At this time, Celia received a call from Elfine that there was a strategic meeting just held, and this meeting was related to the sea exploration team because they had been gone all night but hadn't sent the exploration results to Elfine's academy. She said she would find out about this then inform Celia, because today Celia got a school break, so Celia asked Leo to train her further. Meanwhile, the headquarters reported that the exploration team had been destroyed and they suspected it was caused by the previous elephant. The commander also received a photo of a creature that looked like a tree. Many doubted that this might be a strange elephant god, and when the elephant god appeared, there would be a massive attack on the island to prevent the tragedy from 6 years ago from recurring. This island has significantly fortified its defenses. The Holy Sword Knights here are also trained very seriously. The entire island's population is also trained to evacuate in emergencies. Currently, the headquarters has not been able to determine whether this sea is dangerous or not, and to ensure safety, the headquarters will form 3 elite teams. The ability to destroy a group of elephants on a small scale. Meanwhile, they send an excellent Holy Sword warrior in investigation to gather information at the bottom of the sea. When he returns to Celia, he goes to the training area to learn more about combat skills. Now, Celia's sword skills have improved greatly, so these imitation elephants are no longer her match. Celia boasts to Leo that she has been learning the art of swordsmanship from her family since she was a child until now, but she is still not comparable to someone skilled in swordsmanship like Sakuya. Leo then tells Celia that the magical power within the vampire queen's body she possesses is immense, so he will teach her how to strengthen her body to better align with swordsmanship. But before that, Leo must let Celia fight against an opponent more similar to real situations. He immediately summons some bone warriors using his magic, making Celia feel somewhat scared. So Leo suspects that the current younger generation has never seen bone warriors before. But then Celia confidently takes up the holy sword and begins to fight without hesitation. Every time she is called upon, Celia is always ready to accept until she finally tires out and Leo decides to stop the training session. Through this training, Celia feels much stronger than before, and as a thank you to Leo for his help, she invites him out of the academy for a delicious dinner. After gambling, Sakuya sees a dog standing in front of the dormitory door. He thinks it's someone's pet without realizing that it is Leo's subordinate. Approaching, Sakuya acknowledges that the dog has very beautiful fur, showing its luxury, so he gives it a cool name, Blackfang. After winning some money from the casino, Sakuya buys Blackfang some food. Meanwhile, Regina makes some French fries to invite Elfine to taste, and when Sakuya returns, he tells about the beautiful dog in front of the dormitory door and how he named it and befriended it. Seeing Regina has new food today, Sakuya also asks for a taste. Although today is a holiday, Elfine still has to work hard because the exploration team is missing, so she has to support research underwater. Meanwhile, Celia takes Leo to the city, while Sari is working extra at a French fries shop to gather information to help her own master. Sari is skilled with a knife, and with a few moves, she cuts a bowl of French fries into many pieces and arranges them in front of the shop owner. As she cleans up, Sari sees the master with Celia getting ready to buy French fries. And when she sees Celia making Leo wait in the car, Sari becomes very angry, feeling that the Demon King is too generous to that little noble. Then they both go to the suburban restaurant that Leo thought was a restaurant, but it turns out it is a home for orphans. Celia says she sometimes comes to this restaurant for extra work. She knows that there is a child the same age as Leo here, and when Leo hears it, he unintentionally remembers that he too is an orphan like them. Although they are still young, some already know how to style their hair to match what Celia wears. And just considering them as children, she did not notice that at this moment, the owner of the house had come down to meet directly and introduced Leo as the one saved from the ruins, making the children very curious about him. This time Celia came bringing some vegetables she planted herself while bringing donuts for the children's snacks. Seeing Celia's happy face, Leo knows that this is the place he wants to protect, but for Leo, the place that needs protection no longer exists. At that moment, the new scout team approached the scene at the bottom of the sea, while in the hostel, Elfine found vibrations underground. Elfine also woke up feeling very uncomfortable. It turns out that underground, tree roots had attacked and spread inward. At the same time, Leo along with others were enjoying the dishes prepared by Celia, but Leo also looked uncomfortable and anxious, going back to the years ago when a giant monster attacked the human kingdom. Those sent to exterminate them were Leonette, Saint Thais, and Great Guardian Erican. At that time, Erican decided to use magic to create a sun to burn the monsters. But humans were also affected, so he asked Saint Thais to revive them. Erican saw this as his best course of action because when humans burned, they were also revived by Saint Thais. But Leo felt this approach was too convoluted, so he destroyed Erican's sun and then used the holy sword to swiftly dispatch every monster. Before the mesmerized eyes of the populace, even Leo could employ his power to bring down the last monster. Since then, Leo had been treated affectionately by the kingdom's residents, but Erican saw him as a threat that needed to be eliminated. Back in the present, Erican had transformed into tree roots to search for Leo on the island, while the female priest had obtained permission from the commander to report the initial investigation findings. Initially, they suspected Elfine because she was only in a weak team, but the priest stated that Elfine was a holy knight from a renowned family with investigative skills, so they promptly connected with Elfine to provide a report. Elfine revealed that she had detected numerous small vibrations around the city with some data indicating that a herd of elephants was attacking the underground city. Everyone was shocked to hear what Elfine said, but shortly after, in the command room, many danger warnings were issued, while there were also reports of tree root-like creatures secretly growing underground. Facing such danger, Regina couldn't reach Celia and Leo, so Elfine had to send a witch's eye to warn and support Celia. Then she asked Regina and Sakuya to prepare for battle when the elephants appeared. Leo and Celia were still enjoying a meal with the children when suddenly a child approached Leo and asked to see his holy sword, prompting his older sister to remind the child not to disturb Leo. Leo realized there was someone polite here. Not everyone was bothersome, but in fact, this little girl had already taken a liking to Leo since they met. A team had been sent underground to destroy the tree roots, but when they arrived, the tree roots had grown into a monster and killed them all. Everyone at the headquarters became extremely panicked because although the city was strong in aerial defense, its underground defense was very weak. Now they had to issue warnings to evacuate all citizens. Currently, the soldiers reported that the tree roots had disappeared, and according to Elfin's speculation, it was likely heading to the location of the magical power reactor to absorb a large energy source from the reactor and then attack the island. By then, Erican had damaged the magical power reactor's wall and entered it. Although the place was equipped with defense weapons and supporting troops, it wasn't enough to stop Erican. The headquarters knew that the tree roots would turn into a giant elephant, so they had to turn the city into a battle fortress mode, and all soldiers were ordered to fight against the elephants. Meanwhile, the children still asked Leo to show the holy sword, but as Leo didn't have the holy sword, he demonstrated another trick by creating some small bone humans and playing a puzzle with them. However, instead of being interested, the children became more frightened. At that moment, the entire magical power reactor had been taken over by Erican using its roots, and when he touched the magical power crystal, the whole island trembled and danger warnings were broadcast everywhere. At the same time, elephants began to appear in the sky. The Academy couldn't believe that the usually very safe island was now being attacked by a large number of elephants, and the city had switched to fortress mode to protect the headquarters and the Holy Sword Academy. Then, anti-aircraft weapons came out to shoot down the elephants filling the sky. The headquarters knew that help from the new imperial capital would arrive 3 days later, so they had to put full trust in the Holy Sword Knights trained by the Academy. Currently, 3 girls are helping with the evacuation to the underground shelter, while alien creatures continue to appear in the sky in increasing numbers. As they approach the tower, cannons begin firing like rain, but of course, they can only slow the onslaught, not eradicate all the creatures. To assist the main base, the girls one by one activate their holy swords. Seeing them fight, Leo acknowledges that human weapons are also quite powerful. At that moment, Sari comes to report the city's situation to Leo, and Leo asks Sari to protect Celia's friends. Although Sari dislikes it, orders from the Demon King cannot be disobeyed. Celia wants to bring the children to the underground shelter, but because it's too dangerous outside, she asks them to stay indoors and face the creatures with Leo. Leo sees that Celia hasn't awakened the power of the Vampire Queen, but her courage and confidence make Leo very satisfied with this noble girl. Celia quickly slashes at the creatures attempting to attack, and Leo uses fire magic to turn the others into ash. At that moment, the dimensional rift grows larger and a large dragon is ready to emerge. On the girl's side, giant elephants appear, and Saki quickly grabs her thunder sword and rushes to destroy the newly appeared eagle. Regina also shoots down all the dragons within a few meters radius, but immediately after, a hydra-shaped monster falls in the middle of the city and all the anti-aircraft weapons are destroyed by the dragons. Leo realizes that they are a great dragon clan from his past, and he did not expect that in this era they would all be turned into monsters. To defeat them, Leo asks Celia to stand in front of him to protect him. During this time, Leo will gather magical power to unleash a devastating attack. He summons a lot of fire in the air to be dropped onto the head of the giant dragon. However, after the fire falls to the ground, the dragon suddenly turns to attack Celia. Leo feels his body is too weak to exert all his power. Fortunately, Black appears just in time to restrain the dragon. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Leo launches high-level gravity magic that crushes the dragon until only its skeleton remains. Watching Leo alone kill the giant dragon surprises Celia greatly. But at that moment, a crack in the ground opens right below where Celia stands. Tree roots emerge, tightly binding Celia and pulling her underground. Leo intends to chase after to save Celia, but an enemy appears in front of him. It's none other than Erican, a great sage, Leo's archenemy for thousands of years. Years ago, after being saved by the rebel goddess, Leo led the Demon King's forces in his name. He achieved many victories against humans and brought back much gold and gems. In appreciation of Leo's efforts, the goddess wanted to reward him with the holy sword Leo once possessed when he was a hero. Now, the goddess has transformed it into a demon sword to better suit Leo. However, to use it, Leo must fulfill one condition. This sword will test the truth of Leo's heart to see if he is worthy of wielding it. Back to the present, Leo encountered Erican's infuriating face once again after thousands of years. Unexpectedly, he had transformed into a tree root capable of producing monsters to attack the city. Leo promptly used fire magic on Erican, but he seeped into the ground, dragging Celia with him. Consequently, Leo had to figure out a way to rescue her. At this moment, Black appeared to support Leo. He argued that if Erican had reincarnated, surely the rebel goddess was also reincarnating somewhere. However, before pursuing Erican, they had to think of a way to protect the children and hope that their older sister, Leo, could save Celia safely. Leo patted the little girl's head and assured her that he would handle everything. Afterward, Leo used magic to create a barrier around the house and summoned skeletal warriors to protect everyone inside. Meanwhile, Black had prepared skewers provided by Sakuya, and Leo asked for one skewer to regain his strength. Suddenly, he heard Elfine's voice calling Celia through the communication device she had dropped. Elfine reported that the battle in the city was still intense. Their group had to face a giant hydra and other monsters they might not be able to withstand much longer, so she wanted Celia to return to help. But Leo informed her that Celia had been kidnapped by a monster, so he asked Elfine to use her detection powers to find Celia because her life was in danger. On the other side, Sakuya and Regina were still struggling against the relentless monster attacks. However, Elfine couldn't leave Celia, so she used her holy sword to go there and find out. After a rather long search, Elfine reported to Leo that there was a reaction at the magic factory. Suddenly, Hydra attacked Elfine, but a flying rope appeared out of nowhere to protect her. It turned out Sari arrived just in time to support the group. Meanwhile, Black had taken Leo underground and ran straight to the magic furnace. He wondered why Leo sent Sari to help the humans and created a barrier just to protect them. Leo replied that he was very interested in these humans, so he protected them. After saying so, Leo immediately used fire magic to destroy the wall in front of him and burst into the magic furnace, ready to fight Erican to restore his clan. Leo immediately launched high-level fire magic directly at Erican. Although Erican's root body burned, his regeneration ability was very strong. At this point, Erican told Leo that he had been chosen to be the destroyer and rebuilder of the world. Upon hearing this, Leo realized that Erican had absorbed many followers from the Holy Order, and to gain more power, he would absorb Celia into his root body. Seeing Celia in danger, Leo immediately rushed at Erican. He used magic to destroy many roots in front of him. Even Black wholeheartedly assisted Leo in clearing the way for him, but to no avail. They suspected Erican might have used the magic furnace to enhance his regeneration ability. Thanks to this immense amount of magic, he could launch high-level magic. All the followers absorbed by Erican continuously aided him, causing Leo to be injured in his hands. After that, both stopped to fight back against Erican, but they couldn't penetrate his shield. Now Erican seemed unbeatable as he could absorb magic and attack limitlessly. Therefore, Leo decided to take a risk to defeat him. Meanwhile, Celia was struggling to free herself from the roots that were binding her so she could fight alongside the others. Her strong determination enabled her to successfully activate the Holy Sword. Back to Leo, he was working with Black to approach Erican. Their goal was to find Celia before she was absorbed. As Celia tried to break free, she activated her vampire queen powers, allowing her to control her blood to destroy the roots binding her. Seeing Celia behind Erican, Leo threw a bit of his magic-infused blood at Celia. Thanks to this, Celia fully transformed into the vampire queen and broke free from Erican's control. After assisting Leo, Black requested permission to retreat first. Leo then jumped to grab Celia's hand. Although they both fell, Leo managed to hold onto Celia and then congratulated her for mastering the power he had given her. Erican decided to launch high-level magic to destroy Leo, and upon seeing this magical attack, Black thought it could devastate the entire city area. Leo asked Celia to help clear a path for him. Celia immediately used the holy sword combined with her vampire power to destroy Erican's roots, giving Leo a clear path to fly toward Erican. Leo decided to use the magic sword once given to him by the goddess. Previously, the goddess had said that the magic sword would reveal the truth within it. Leo had to accept the sword's conditions to use it. At that moment, Celia also flew to clear the roots to protect Leo. Meanwhile, Leo slowly drew his sword with determination to protect this kingdom, deciding to make this island the capital and vowing to safeguard its people. After that, he repeated the goddess's words while waiting for the demon sword to respond. Finally, the demon sword heard Leo's call and became his weapon. Seeing the demon sword, Erican was terrified, but it was too late. Leo raised his sword and delivered a single slash towards Erican, instantly vanquishing him. The elephants outside also lost their will to fight and were slowly eradicated. The headquarters was informed that the tree roots had been eliminated. Leo and Celia returned to the surface safely, welcomed by everyone. Celia was very happy because her team survived without injury. Having used too much magical power yesterday, Leo felt a bit tired this morning and quietly complained about why his body felt so weak. Then, Celia brought gifts from the children for Leo. Additionally, Celia felt embarrassed but wanted to drink Leo's blood because much of her own was drained during the fight yesterday. Leo then extended his hand so Celia could drink to her satisfaction. Just then, the whole team came to visit Leo and misunderstood what they were doing. Celia felt very embarrassed and explained that she was only giving special care to Leo. Meanwhile, the princess of the human kingdom had set off for Leo's island. As a member of the royal family, she had to praise the holy knights who had fought tirelessly to protect the city. The previous battle had caused severe damage to the city. Although the magic reactor was badly damaged, solar panels replaced it until the reactor was repaired. Since many things were still unclear, Leo decided to investigate the city further today. However, upon arriving at the administration office, a spirit owl blocked Leo's entry. According to the owl, Leo had to report information with his academic records to gain entry. At that moment, Regina came from behind and covered Leo's eyes to tease him. When Regina asked, Leo replied that he came to look for some ancient books. Perhaps in those books, he could regain his memory. However, the spirit owl continued to obstruct Leo. Regina then unlocked the owl to help Leo get inside. She also told Leo that the owl was an artificial spirit produced by the Elfine Corporation. The real spirits had disappeared when the elephant attacked the world. After finding some books for Leo, they both received a message from the management office. They had invited the whole team to the Hyperion warship to celebrate the victory. The host of the party was the princess of the kingdom. Some half-human races in the protection zone heard the news that the princess would hold a celebration party. They gathered and planned to kidnap the princess. However, they were worried because humans possess the power of sacred swords, making them hard to fight against. A fairy girl named Sanak appeared and empowered them with the devil's sword in her hand. Sanak gave a little power to the lion youth, who immediately cut down a nearby tree with a single slash. With this power, they were confident they could capture the princess and seize the warship. Sanak reminded them that her goddess required offerings, so they must let all the sacred knights live. Leo was very impressed the first time he saw the Hyperion warship. If he had such a ship, his Demon King's army would become very strong. Then, Leo went to the shopping area to buy something as a gift for Celia. According to the shop owner, this bracelet was made by the fairies in a special zone, not just as fairy tribe jewelry. In this special zone, there are many other half-human races, so Leo did not expect that on this island, there would be so many human races. At this moment, the princess from the kingdom appeared with an elf on the warship to welcome the people. But Regina only dared to stand from a distance observing her sister through binoculars. Syria and her companions, after searching, finally found Leo, and Leo took this opportunity to give the keychain he had just bought to Syria as a thank you for taking care of him all this time, making her very happy. Syria thought that when Leo grew up, he would captivate the hearts of many women. Leo also wondered why Regina did not come to the party, and everyone thought perhaps she had personal matters that were difficult to disclose. A girl named Fenris suddenly appeared to greet Syria, and every time they met, this girl always came to mock her. Fenris also knew that Syria had just awakened the sacred sword, so she congratulated her, but Fenris's attitude made Syria dislike her even more. Some half-humans had infiltrated the ship and killed the guard forces. After that, they used the victims' faces to perform a small spell that allowed them to disguise themselves as the people they had just killed. The celebration party on the warship had begun. Sakuya took the opportunity to bring food to Black Iron, while Leo took out a stack of historical documents from the library to look for information. However, Leo was somewhat disappointed because he did not find any information about himself or the rebel goddess. As he took a cup of drink, Sari suddenly appeared. Although Leo had ordered Sari to investigate the ship, she was instead standing there showing off her maid dress, which made Leo ignore her, making Sari quite annoyed. Sari informed me that this ship was run with magical power and could even fly in the air. This information seemed useful, so Leo planned to reward Sari, making her very happy. However, Leo only produced a donut, which made Sari upset as she had hoped for jewelry, not a donut that would be gone in a few bites. Sari then called Leo a fool and left angrily. After Sari left, Celia came to see Leo in a swimsuit, bringing along some children from the previous house. Seeing that Leo couldn't swim, Celia said she would teach him. Leo couldn't believe that a demon king like himself would one day be taught to swim by a girl. Moreover, this swimsuit was too tempting, so he couldn't concentrate. Even the swimming lesson became a topic of conversation, making Leo very annoyed. Regina, although not daring to meet the princess, stayed near the warship to protect her younger sibling. Meanwhile, the royal princess was taken to the party by her guard, and at that moment they were attacked by the disguised half-humans. After that, they removed their masks to capture the princess, but she managed to release her little elf to escape. In the hall, preparations to welcome the princess were underway, but the half-humans had removed their masks and surrounded everyone on the warship. Fenris tried to use her holy sword to save everyone, but someone with a weapon stopped her, and an old man created an apple-shaped grenade and threw it into the room, threatening to detonate it if anyone dared to act. With no other choice, everyone had to surrender for a while. They only captured the Holy Sword Knights and gathered them in one place because Sanek ordered not to kill any Holy Sword Knights to be offered to the goddess. When Leo heard about the goddess, he became very curious, so he immediately told Celia to protect everyone and flee from the hall. The princess had been controlled by the kidnappers and taken to the control room, where she had to give control of the warship to them in exchange for them releasing the civilians. In front of the ship, there were many underwater rocks with the strength of elephants, and Sanek wanted to control the ship from crashing directly into these rocks. Then, he would use the knights on board to make an offering to the goddess he had just heard about. At that moment, some people realized that they had been deceived by Sanek. A young man determined to attack Sanek was burned by him, while others, fearing death, had to follow Sanek's orders. Outside, Regina saw the ship suddenly moving in the middle of the night, carrying the small soul that was always with her. She felt that something was wrong inside the ship, so Regina took Soul and jumped onto the sailing ship. There, they met Soul and Regina, who told Leo that her younger sister was in danger. In the past, the human kingdom had a rule that when a red star with a certain point appeared, the royal family should not have descendants. However, Regina was born on that night, so she was considered dead by the king but was later taken and cared for by Celia's father in secret. Since then, Regina was raised alongside Celia and became the little princess's servant. Today, Regina came just to see her younger sister. When the ship moved on its own, Regina felt something was wrong, so she was sure there was a problem with the princess. Leo told Regina that a group of people were controlling the ship and Celia's group was also captured. He believed that the leader must be in the control room, so they had to act immediately to save the princess. Meanwhile, Celia's group waited for an opportunity to fight the group of people. Elfine said that she had analyzed the explosive power of the apple grenade while hiding an eye behind the lamp. But first, Elfine wanted to find a way to destroy the magic wand in the enemy's hand so he couldn't detonate the grenade. Celia said they could leave that to her. Celia quietly picked up a sharp object that had fallen to the ground. At this moment, she could not activate the sacred sword, so she would use demonic power together with Leo and Regina to head to the control room.